can I say that you are a survivor?
I personally don't like that word.
Okay.
I'm a fighter.
Okay.
This is something you don't need any equipments, you don't need investments, nothing. This is something you can do while you're having a shower. Don't avoid checkups just because you are afraid that you might find something.
Okay.
When I felt the lump, I waited for 2 days because I needed to process it myself. And that's the thing, because we don't understand how common cancer is until you get into that world.
Yeah.
But it is very common. So if we are doing sugar, cholesterol, thyroid checkups every 6 months or every year, might as well just add cancer markers in there as well.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Bald Waker. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Deepti and she has explained her fight with cancer in the last year. I hope you take the inspiration from it and take the necessary actions to fight this menace in the society. Thank you so much. Hi Deepti, how are you?
I am great.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That's great to hear. Now, we are here today because you've gone through some tough stages in your life recently. You have, or can I say that you are a survivor? Is that a right word?
Look, it's very commonly used word when it comes to cancer.
Yes.
I personally don't like that word.
Okay.
I would rather say I'm a fighter.
Of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
And I'm a success story.
100%. So let's talk about, when did you know that something is not right?
So I was doing regular self-examinations, and retrospectively, when I look at it, I should have done a little bit more, but at least I was doing that.
But is that common in most of the people in Australia or in the world?
It's not, and I really hope that it becomes a common practice.
Okay.
This is something you don't need any equipments, you don't need investments, nothing. This is something you can do while you're having a shower.
Yes.
So if you can spare 30 seconds in your shower every day or once in a week, just to do the self-examination, that's more than enough.
Okay.
And I was doing that. Every couple of weeks, I would do the self-examination.
Is this, you were doing it just because there was an awareness, or because there is a history in the family, or what was the reason?
No, there is no history. It is just something, as I was aware of it, and something it was easy to do. Whenever comes to mind, you can just do it. That's why I was doing it.
Okay. Yeah. So one fine day, you thought that, when you were checking, you found lumps.
Yeah.
What did you do after that?
So I contacted my GP. So the first thing I did, and when I went to see GP, obviously they did the physical examination, and then obviously they are more experienced, so we kind of knew where this is going.
Yes.
But then they asked me to do ultrasound straight away, and I did that on the same day. After that, it's a mammogram, and then what happens is that then they will refer you to the surgeon. So because even mammogram and ultrasound both came back saying that it's suspicious looking mass, so they referred me to a surgeon, and then the surgeon does the biopsy, and that's where you get the official confirmation that it's, what type of cancer it is, how does it look, the biology of the cancer. They will discuss everything with you. Then we do full body MRI, and then it's a PET scan. PET scan is the important one, where we are looking for if the cancer has metastasized, has it spread anywhere else. And yeah, that's the most important step.
Okay. So when that had happened, of course, you understood that, you have a cancer. Who was the first person you spoken?
Look, when I felt the lump, I waited for 2 days because I needed to process it myself. So even though I haven't seen my GP yet, or I didn't have official confirmation, but it kind of like I knew what it was. So I waited for 2 days to process it and gather my thoughts, and kind of I created a plan about all sorts of different scenarios in my mind.
Yep.
And then the first person I told, obviously, my husband Rohan. So I told him that I felt the lump. I'm seeing the GP tomorrow, and yeah.
Okay.
This is what I think.
So, of course, you spoke to your husband. What was the stage when you spoke to your family?
Once I got the biopsy results, because the biopsy tells you in like the language we use or we are all familiar with is the stage of the cancer. Once I got to know that, then I called my family and shared the news with my family and close friends.
Of course, having the support of your partner and having the support of your family, of course. Look, every single time when people go through it, I can't say that I can imagine. Let's put it this way, okay? I cannot imagine. So whatever I'm going to ask you is from a third person or from, because that is something which I've not encountered. So I'm more curious about how, first of all, people can know or people understand that how they can check it, what they can check it. And the other thing is that once you have the support of your partner and of your family members or close friends, how does that affect in the journey from there on?
It's a very good question, and it makes a huge difference. It's because when I found out that this is what my journey is going to be, I focused on all the positive things.
Of course.
And first positive thing is that the support system I have around me. Like husband, my in-laws were here. My mom came from India, and the close friends or family, I should say, I have here. Everybody was very keen and ready to support me in whatever way they can. They just say, like, you tell us what you want and we're ready to do it. And these are the positive things I focused on, that what more can I ask for? All I have to do is just endure some treatment. But otherwise, these people all standing outside my room and ready to do whatever I need. And that peace of mind is, it makes a huge difference. See, the one thing I really want to say here is that when you're dealing with something like this, half of the battle is in your mind. So your mind needs to be very strong. So when I felt the lump, that's why I said that I took 2 days to process it myself and be ready to whatever is coming my way. I never once asked myself, why me? Never once. It's like, it didn't even occur to me. And this is something I really want to insist on people, that especially when it comes to cancer, don't ever think of it as because you did something wrong, that's why this is happening to you. Not at all. It's just one of the diseases, and it's unfortunately becoming quite common. Treat it such as. Do not go into the guilt. Do not go into the feeling shameful about it. Not at all. Your mind needs to be very strong, and you need to be, in your mind, you need to be ready to deal with this. So I kept saying to myself, I'm going to get through this. Every single time since I felt the lump, I've been telling myself, I'm going to get through this. I know that I'm going to get through this. I'm not overly religious person, but I am a spiritual person. I do practice spiritual practices quite regularly. And I think I've started doing them 4 or 5 years ago. They kind of prepared me to deal with this situation. So I would highly encourage people to, do meditation, spend time with yourself. That is what's going to help you be ready to deal with not just cancer, but any hard situation in your life. So that's what worked for me. And then because mentally I was so strong, that's what I projected outwards as well. So my family members, my friends, they all saw how strong I am. I'm not crying, I'm not sad, and I'm not scared.
See, it's easy to say that. Let's put it this way. It's very easy to say that, oh, I'm a strong girl, I'm not gonna cry, blah blah blah. Okay? When you know that it's a difficult journey, it's gonna be a difficult journey. Okay? It's not as simple as it sounds or looks. Anything can happen. Okay. Yes, medical science has gone forward. There are so many treatments, blah blah blah. But to go through, it's not as easy as it sounds. Preparing yourself, as you said that you were doing meditation, you were working out on things which made you prepared to go through some difficult phases. At that point of time, once your doctor told you that, after the biopsy, of course, that this is what the situation is, what did they tell you that how much time it will take for you to recover, or what was their message to you at that point of time?
So they don't really discuss that.
Okay.
Because the reason behind it, every person is different.
Yes.
Everybody reacts differently to the treatment.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult for even them to predict that, okay, in 1 year time, you're going to be fine. What they do is that they give you treatment plan.
Yep.
So like in my case, we did chemotherapy first.
Yes.
Then the surgery, then radiotherapy, and then I have a targeted therapy which is still going on.
So how much time was it? How many months? How many years?
So I had 6 rounds of chemotherapy, which was once every 3 weeks.
Okay.
So about 4.5 months.
Once every 3 weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
And then surgery, it took me probably a week to get out of it. I was on my feet and doing...
So how many chemotherapy sessions you had?
6.
Okay. Now when you say chemo, consider you are in Australia at the moment. Of course you are. If you were in India, medical sciences in every country is different. How does, of course, whenever we go through some sort of, medical problems in our lives, first thing comes out is how, if you have a medical insurance, that's one thing, but cost is attached to that. Now, anything, of course, cost attached. So when you knew about this one, when your doctor told you financially, you got to be stable as well.
Yes.
To understand and to look after that, no matter what, we as a family, as a partner or husband and a wife will go through this one.
Yes.
How well prepared you were or financially, or the second part is how you then forecasted that this is gonna cost me, this whole process is gonna cost me this much, so I need to be prepared for it.
Yes. So we had 2 options because we also have a private health insurance.
Okay.
And we had...
Is it recommended?
Yeah, highly recommended.
Okay.
Now, especially that I've gone through this,
Yes.
highly recommended.
Okay.
So we had a private health insurance. So first, my referrals, I received 2 referrals. One was for private,
Yes.
and one was for Peter Mac, which is public and one of the best cancer hospitals in the world.
Okay.
So we first, because it was cancer, we didn't want it to wait, so we went for the private appointment first.
Yes.
We did the biopsy, all the tests, everything was done in private. Again, because we had a private health insurance, pretty much everything was covered.
Yep.
Some tests like ultrasound or MRI, but then Medicare gave me about 85% back. So
Excellent.
I was okay.
85%?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So with Medicare as well, I think there is like a threshold for the year.
Yes.
And if you meet that, then you get actually more rebate back. So obviously, in
Yeah.
my case, I did so many. So I think in a couple of weeks, I hit the threshold.
Yep.
So you get that back. And then I also went for my Peter Mac appointment. Again,
Okay.
Peter Mac is public. So obviously, it takes a bit longer.
Yep.
The process is a little bit different compared to private. But we had both options.
Okay.
And our focus was, again, as I said, the positives, looking at the positives, that financially being sound, we knew that whatever comes, we can handle it.
Yeah.
My work, both me and my husband's workplaces, was extremely supportive. And they said, like, don't worry about,
So did you have to take leave in between?
Yes, I had to. Yeah.
Okay.
But they were so good. Like, they was like, don't worry about it. We'll deal with this later. You just focus on your health. So we had to make the choice that do we want to go public or do we want to go private? But there are a couple of medicines which were not covered under either.
Yep.
So we had to make sure that we can pay for it.
Okay.
But having said that, because being in Australia, another positive thing is that for those medications, if you can't afford it, you're actually allowed to take money out of your superannuation
Okay.
for the treatment.
Didn't know about this.
Exactly, which is amazing. It kind of
Yeah.
like gives you that, okay, so I don't need that stress.
Yes.
If I have a superannuation, then I can actually take the money out of it.
Yeah.
But we were prepared for it.
Yeah.
And that was only for one medication. But apart from that, everything was covered under private health insurance. So we decided to go private.
Yes.
Obviously, things move much quicker
Yeah.
in private sector. So like within 2 weeks, so I felt the lump on 8th of May 2024.
Okay.
My appointment with surgeon was 15th of May 2024.
That was 2 weeks. Oh, 1 week.
Yeah. On 22nd of May, I already knew my biopsy results and what type of cancer it is.
Yep.
And my PET scan results were back as well. And I had my first chemotherapy on 31st of May.
Okay. So within 22 days, you had your first session as well.
Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's why we didn't want it to wait. So the type of cancer I had, even though it was localized, it was still aggressive and advanced. With public, I would have. They said that I might have to wait for another 2 to 3 weeks, and we didn't want to risk it.
Yep.
And we were like, if we have health insurance, it's covered, then why not? Let's go private. So we decided to go private.
Okay. So since you came to know on 8th of May, you had your first chemo on 30th of May.
31st, yeah.
30th?
31st.
31st. Okay, 31st. Since then, how things change in a personal life?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot. When you go something like this, it 100% changes your perspective.
Okay.
Of
looking at life?
Yes, and everything, even the smallest thing. You look at it with more appreciation.
Yeah.
You don't take things for granted anymore.
Gratitude?
Gratitude, 100%, and you start to value
your loved ones?
Everything. Yeah, your loved ones, your possessions, your time, your life.
Yep.
And most important, your mental health, your mental and physical health. That's the most important thing, which I definitely needed to make a lot of lifestyle changes.
Yep.
And this was definitely a wake-up call for me. So anybody who's listening, don't wait for something traumatic to happen before you start prioritizing yourself. Do it right now. And that also, doing these self-examinations, regular checkups and all of that. But that was a huge change for me. So I am making lifestyle changes. I'm still recovering from treatment. So I won't say that I've made everything, like all the changes have been done and I'm following them, but I'm slowly getting there. But I appreciate, I have spent time with myself a lot, and now I know what I want.
Is that the sweet part?
That is, I think, the ultimate part.
Okay. Is that a happy realization as well?
100%. Okay. Because once you know what you need, that makes you happy. When you are happy, that's what the message your mind is sending to your body, that you are happy. You're happy, your body is happy. And then you're more healthy. It's a simple
Have you
equation.
become more forgiven as well?
I've become more forgetful.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Literally metaphorically as well. So I'm not forgiving people, but I'm forgetting.
Okay. All right. So once the chemo started on 31st of May, once every 3 weeks, how tough were they?
Look, what happens with chemotherapy, it's a cumulative effect. So it's not like you have first chemo and now you have all sorts of symptoms. It doesn't happen that way. And I really want to give credit to Rohan here, because when
who's your husband?
My husband, yeah. So you get like an introductory session with your breast care nurse before you start chemotherapy. They will give you the list of side effects and what to do if that happens. It's quite a long list. I think there are like 32 or 33 different type of side effects.
Okay.
Obviously, I am an overthinker. And I was like, oh shit.
Sometimes we all are.
Okay. And I was like, oh my God, so this. And then Rohan kind of said, stop it. Like, he took that document away from me and he said, don't think about it. We are going to take one day at a time. I'm going to ask you, when you get up in the morning, I'm going to ask you how you're feeling.
Excellent.
You tell me what you're feeling and we'll deal with that in that situation. Do not think about anything else. And that advice was the best advice I received for this treatment. Don't think about, oh my God, this is the side effect and what if I get it. Everybody is different. Your body reacts differently. Again, as I said, that, keep telling yourself that you're going to get through this, you're fine, nothing is going to happen, and your body will react that way. So when I did that, I actually implemented that in my daily routine. My chemo was, it went much, much better than what, than what it could have.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't think about it. Yeah. Okay. Just take one day at a time. And and I also remember, like, every time, even nowadays, Rohan asks me how you're feeling. So you know how in Marathi we say, "Kasa tari hota hai."
Kasa tari hota hai.
Kasa tari hota hai. And he was like, I don't need that answer. Give me specific.
Okay.
So we had funny moments as well
Yeah.
during the treatment. And treatment was actually kind of a wake up, like not a wake up call, but it also, how do I put it? Like I found myself
Yeah.
during the treatment. So one of the things which is really funny, and I always share this story with my friends as well, is that chemotherapy affects you in different ways. So the main thing is that what chemo does is that it actually killing all the fast growing cells in your body.
Yep.
That includes your taste buds. So you lose your taste. So everybody, again, for some people, everything tastes cardboard.
Considering us as foodies, that's the bad part. That's the worst part.
And it was shocking that how emotionally attached I am to food.
Yeah.
And that realization came during the chemo, because everything would taste bitter to me. I couldn't eat anything, but I was hungry. So I was in hangry state all the time, like angry because I'm hungry and I can't eat anything. But yeah, that realization was shocking for me. Like it really shook me to the core to realize that how emotionally attached I am to the food.
See, how I look at it is sometimes you understand the smallest things which you consider when you're right becomes the biggest things when you're not well.
Correct.
So
and that's why I said that it's really important that spend time with yourself. So even during chemo, I would be alone in the room, but not because, I'm like too sick to go anywhere else or anything, but that was a time for me to reflect on everything. My whole life, the way I have lived it so far. And it was really important for me to spend that time. So having that realization that how emotionally attached I am with food, that was not a negative thing.
Of course.
It was a positive thing. And that's when I learned that, okay, well, here is one area where I really need to focus once I'm, finished with this and I start to go back to living normal life. So now I have hired a dietitian because I need to recover from all of this, and my body need additional help and nutrients, and I don't know how to do that, because for me is that give me veg chow mein and I'll be happy.
Yes.
But yeah, so these are the things I think if you're going through, especially with the cancer journey, rather than being scared of this word and thinking of the worst, I think we should look at it as an opportunity. As you said at the beginning, no one should go through this.
Yep.
But the statistic at the moment in Australia, 1 in every 7 women is getting diagnosed with breast cancer, which is a very, very high number. So unfortunately, it is becoming quite common. And if it is becoming quite common, then we all need to stay on top of it.
Yep.
We need to know what type of cancers they are. We need to know what our family history is. I always say in my videos, go and have a chat with your family. Until I was diagnosed, there were so many people around me who actually been through this journey. I had no idea, because for whatever reason, they never shared.
Yeah. Before that, we'll come to that point. But before that, have you started loving yourself more once you've gone through this tough phase?
Yes, 100%. 100%. And again, as I said, because I started my spiritual journey 4 or 5 years ago, so I kind of started.
So when you say spiritual journey, is that yoga? Is that meditation?
Meditation, but the type of meditation. So the more one I'm doing is I'm focusing more on myself.
Okay.
And not to get moksha or anything.
Yeah.
So that's a different type of meditation.
Yes.
I don't think I'm ready for that.
None of us are. Okay.
So this is more self-awareness. So I think I really needed to know myself, and I needed to know what I need. There were, even before this, there were a few things happening in life where I was confused. I knew that I can do things, but I was doubting myself.
Yeah.
So I needed that help. And it's really funny that I was actually curious about quantum physics.
Yeah.
And it kind of led to the realization that, the path of the spirituality or meditation and all these practices, it's basically the same concept.
Yeah.
And that's how then I started doing that. But coming back to the point, yes, definitely. So that equipped me to understand what I'm going through and how this impacts me.
Okay.
And that made me understood that, yeah, absolutely, I need to love myself.
But as you said, you're not a religious person. Was there a a strength or a power or something in universe you were talking to internally and externally?
Absolutely. And I highly encourage every single person, not just when you're dealing with cancer, but anything in your life, you need to have a faith. And I'm not saying the faith has to be in some sort of God or anything. The faith could be in yourself. Or your doctor, your friend, anything, your fur baby. It could be anything, but you need to have that strong faith and that strong belief that this is what's going to get through, help me get through this. So in my case, we do have a family guru from my dad's side. And I
Back in India?
Back in India, yes. And I strongly believe in her. They've given us this mantra which I chant every single day. Whenever I feel like, I just do it. I wake up in the middle of the night, I will just start chanting and I'll fall back asleep. So I strongly believe in that, and that was my power. So with the lump as well, there's a story, and why I strongly believe, and I really thank Mauli for looking after me, is that I actually had done my shower. I actually came out of the shower, but something, Deepti, you haven't done the self-examination. I think you should do it. I went back into the shower and did the check, and I felt the lump. So I'm a very strong believer that, our Mauli is looking after me, and she's definitely protecting me. But yeah, have faith in something. You need to have a faith. You need that power with you that it's going to get through me. This is going to help me get through this. It's sorry, I forgot the name of the book, but my friend gave it to me. It's a placebo effect. If you believe,
it's going to happen.
Strongly believe, that's going to happen. And that's why, you believe in your mind, your body will react that way. So in my case, after my second chemotherapy,
so how many you had in total?
6.
6.
So the first one went quite well. And I was like, if this is what it's going to be,
it should be
fine.
A cakewalk.
But then the second one, it's kind of like, now I know what's happening. But the second one, I decided that what I'm going to do after my last chemotherapy is finished. So it takes about 3 weeks. So after every session, that's why they give you 3-week period for.
So were you working during your chemo?
Yes, there were some days where I'm feeling absolutely fine and I was working, working from home. But I was working full time.
So that was the good thing your company has given it to you during that time.
Absolutely. So the power of visualization. So I had decided that. So after the third week after my last chemo, the date is 3rd of October 2024. And my visualization was that what I'm going to do on that day. So I had asked my mother-in-law and my mother to make puran pori for me.
Foodie. All right.
And my visualization, if I was feeling low or it's just today, side effects a little bit more harsher. I would visualize that day what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get up in the morning, every single detail. I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to take my fur baby for a walk, come back, have a shower. These are the clothes I'm going to wear. This is the chair on the dining table. This is how I'm going to sit. This is the plate I'm going to have my puran pori in. My first puran pori, and then the melted. I imagine every single detail. Who are going to be there with me to share this experience? Who do I want to share with? Do I want to take pictures? Do I want to take video? Every single detail.
During this period, did you realize the friends or subordinates are closer to you, or should we say, did you found out that who are closer to you and who are not?
Again, I'm extremely blessed when it comes to close friends. They are all true friends. They stood by me. I know they stood by me as a rock. When first I told them, I saw everybody in person. And when we shared this news, one of my...
So did you gather everybody together and say...
No, I called everybody
personally.
I called them separately. Because, see, just because I was ready and the way I handled it, not necessarily everybody can handle it the same way. So I wanted to make sure that, I give them also time and opportunity to process this and not put them on the spot if they want to react differently, they should feel free to do so. So that's why I called everybody when they were at home and in their comfort place.
In their comfort zone.
To share this news. And
Yeah.
then once they have processed it, they actually came to see me in person.
Yeah.
So one of my friend Neha, she's like, I called her I think around 8 p.m. And by 9 o'clock I had messages. She's telling me, okay, these are the things you need to do. This is what we need to do. This is what the chemo bag would look like. And I was like, oh my God. It's like even I'm not thinking about that. So when you have that level of support, that's why I said that all I had to do is just, get through the treatment, and I have this. I had this amazing team around me.
So from May to October, all the chemo sessions are done.
Yes.
Now, what I could see that from first to the second to the third to the sixth, it was getting little bit tougher.
Yes.
It was getting little bit difficult in life,
Yeah.
one by one.
Yes.
Of course, a difficult phase. Now, once the last one was finished, what were you telling yourself?
Once the last one was finished, I said,
You had Puran Puri. That's a different part. That's okay.
that was the focus.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, after that I had second phase, which was the surgery.
Okay.
So what happens in surgery? So I decided to go with lumpectomy. Sorry, I shouldn't say it was under the guidance of my surgeon and oncologist. And actually, my mama mami, so one of my mom's
Uncle
brother, uncle auntie, he lives in Bendigo and he's a doctor himself.
Okay.
So he's anesthetist, and my auntie, she's gynecologist.
Okay.
And she herself has gone through this.
Okay.
That was a huge support
Relief.
for me. So from a medical perspective as well, but she also could relate to me and what
Yes.
I'm going through. So they were a tremendous help. So with the consultation with everybody, we decided to go with lumpectomy. So that means that I haven't removed my breast. I've only removed the
part
tumor
affected.
and the affected part and the surrounding of it. So what happens after surgery? They remove the mass and then it again goes to the pathology. What we want to see is that all the ages of that mass comes back saying negative. So
Okay.
0% cancer cells found.
Yeah.
That means the cancer is completely
Gone.
gone. So that was my second phase. So I enjoyed my Puran Poi, had fun, but on 9th of October I had my surgery. So it was pretty much straight away after the chemo.
Okay.
Yeah. My surgeon is absolutely amazing. So usually it takes 7 days.
Yeah.
But within 2 days he called me to give me the good news that
Excellent.
it's all gone.
So once you got this news, is that mean, sorry, not survivor but fighter, that fight for a timing has been finished?
Fight for the timing, no, because in a way, because the cancer is gone from my body, yes, but the treatment hasn't finished.
So it's still on.
It is still on. Yes. So,
And how long does it stay?
It's case by case.
Okay.
So in my case, after the surgery, I had radiotherapy, which is for 15 days every day. It takes only
15?
15 days
Yeah.
every day, Monday to Friday.
Okay. So for 15 days it goes on.
Yes.
For what is the frequency?
Every day.
Okay.
Every day. It takes only 5 minutes.
So 1 to 15 and then again start 16
no.
to...
Only 15 days.
Okay.
But every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But then it's once.
It's once.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Again, it's case by case depending on what you have done. If I would have decided to have double mastectomy, even after that I still would have had needed radiotherapy.
Yeah.
Maybe less days. But so it depends. So in my case it was 15 days and every day.
Okay.
So then I also have a targeted therapy because the type of cancer I had, it was triple positive.
Yeah.
So that means it was HER2 positive, it was ER positive, PR positive.
Yeah.
So I have a targeted therapy to manage or control those hormones.
Yes.
That treatment is still going on.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, I
Yeah.
think it will finish in July or August sometime. Yeah, but it will finish then.
What I understood is, yes, it is different from body to body, person to person. You found out on 8th of May of 2024. Now we are sitting on almost 1st of June. So it's almost a year. Is this the black chapter or a difficult phase? Do we consider it as over? when it comes, I know the treatment is still on.
Yeah.
I know that it will keep continuing for some time, but that black period, is that over?
Yes. So I am cancer free.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
Cancer free.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes. So clinically, I'm cancer free.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that is definitely over. So once I got the result after my surgery, I got the pathology result. That chapter ended there.
So from 7th of May 2024 to the 1st of June 2025, when Deepti was there before she understood that there's something wrong, versus now when Deepti knows that, I'm cancer free, what are the main things have changed? We talked about you found yourself, you started loving about it, blah, blah, blah. But what are the main other things which you found out that it was different Deepti then, now it's different Deepti now?
Balanced lifestyle.
Okay.
Huge change, a practical change. Balanced lifestyle.
Can you please elaborate?
Yes, I'm more careful what I eat now.
So is there a dietary requirements?
Not as such. Now that I'm cancer free, there are recommendations, the things I should avoid.
Yes.
But there are no restrictions as such.
Okay.
My oncologist has
Is that
advised
also
me.
person to person, or
Yes.
it's common?
No, it is person to person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
As I said, the chemotherapy it's kind of a poison. So
Yeah.
it affects your body differently, and how you come out of it, it really depends on, how you tolerate that. So
Yeah.
some people now, obviously I have joined the groups,
Yes.
the breast cancer fighters. And then some of them, after chemotherapy, it's 3 years past, but they're still seeing few things happening with their body,
Yep.
which is quite common.
Yep.
So it really depends person to person. But in my case, practical change is the diet. I've had a dietitian.
Yep.
Because I was not paying that much attention
Yeah.
to what
Yep.
I needed.
Yes.
Instead of what I want.
Yep.
Now I'm more focused on that.
Okay.
I'm spending more time understanding and researching that what I need and
Yep.
what are the things I should be eating. And spending more time with that. I'm being more vigilant. Physical health, so exercise.
Walking?
As I said, walking. So that, again, because I'm still recovering, so walking is the first thing I've started.
Yep.
But I will slowly then, pick up what I need to do. So my dietitian has also given me some plan which is not going to put me, in too much physical stress. But it's still, so what happens in chemotherapy, you lose a lot of muscle.
Yeah.
So you need to get that back. But again, I'm still not there where I can start the weight trainings.
Yep.
So, but these are the things, like I always knew that, I need to do it, but I never took it seriously. It's like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Doing something here and there, and never really took it seriously.
Yep.
But now everything I do, that thought is there. That, okay, how, like coming here this morning, I planned it yesterday, what time I'm going to get up, because I need to make sure that I get my morning walk before I come here.
Yep.
So everything, whatever planning I do is around that.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I have, like next weekend I have an event, it's a lunch event, so I know that I'm going to be eating outside.
Yes.
I don't have a control over food,
Yeah.
what I'm going to eat. So then I need to make sure that the day before or on that day in the evening, I'm having very balanced and healthy food. So now it's not, that is something I'm very vigilant and conscious about.
So once you come out of it being a fighter, what is the one message? I'm not talking about only breast cancer. I'm talking about a bigger,
Like a traumatic event.
menace called cancer. What should people take more sort of, I'll change that. When you say about a bigger problem, shouldn't say. When you say a bigger issue or menace in the society of cancer, what should people do or how they can take care of themselves?
Okay. There are two parts to it. One is the first person who is going through this, and the second, people who are helping that person.
Yeah.
So your, relatives, friends, family. So the person who is going through this, or they have already, been diagnosed.
Before that,
They
haven't been diagnosed.
They haven't been diagnosed.
Or they don't even know.
Okay. Before that, then please do regular checkups.
Okay.
Literally, I've said this in my video as well. This line I'm about to say is not for marketing, or it's not, just a phrase. Early detection can save lives.
Okay.
If you notice something when it's in stage 0 or 1, there are more treatment options available which are non-invasive, and your prognosis is much, much better, and there is very high chances that you can live a long, healthy life.
So you basically talk to your GP first?
Absolutely. Talk to your GP, talk to your family, get the family history. Not half of the time, but 95% of the time, we don't even know that someone has gone through this, journey. So talk to your family. Have that open conversation. Don't be scared of this word.
Yeah.
Don't avoid checkups just because you are afraid that you might find something.
Okay.
Think about that your family would rather spend this year or year and a half with you going through this rather than living rest of their lives without you.
Yep.
So think about that. So it is very daunting. Even now that I'm gone through this, but I still have to do the regular checkups, and I still get that, butterfly feeling in my stomach that, what's going to
come out.
But that's okay. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
So might as well stay on top of it. So that's the first advice. Do regular checkups. Talk to your GP, talk to your family, get all the information you can. Your GP can guide you how you can, because as I said, everybody is different. So your medical history, what you're going through right now, if you have any other medical problems, they can guide you what you need to do. So please do that. And you have to do it once a year.
Yeah.
Again,
it's just like a blood checkup. It's
exactly.
Okay.
And that's the thing, because we don't understand how common cancer is until you get into that world.
Yeah.
But it is very common. So if we are doing sugar, cholesterol, thyroid checkups every 6 months or every year, might as well just add cancer markers in there as well.
Yeah.
So definitely talk to your GP. So that's for everybody.
Yeah.
The second point I would like to say is that don't judge who has gone through this journey. And
do you really think people do judge?
People do.
Really?
Yeah.
In what sense?
They blame you for your disease, or you did that, or you drank alcohol, or you had a bad lifestyle.
I know people who are, sorry to cut you off, I know people who are vegetarian, get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, go to bed at 10 o'clock in the night, perfect family life, and is currently going through that. So when you know people around you who are absolutely sattvic, can still go through that.
And that's the thing. This is not something anybody is asking for. As I said, that having a healthy, balanced lifestyle, that is the most important part. That doesn't, if you're not drinking, great, no problem. But it's again like that argument which we don't want to get into, that we have newborn babies.
Yeah.
They haven't even had a drop of alcohol yet. But don't judge who's going through this.
Yeah.
Don't judge them on their appearance. Don't judge them. Like when I lost my hair, that was a liberating moment.
Let's not talk about hair.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Okay.
No. I loved it. This is growing way too fast for me.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. And I felt so empowered. And I felt like, I'm free.
Yep.
That social constraint that to have my hair done properly, which I never did. But,
yeah.
but just that knowing that, I don't have to anymore. And
so when you lost your hair, did you consciously have to make a decision that you're not going to do certain things in life? Not really.
I knew that I'm going to lose my hair.
Yes.
So I actually shaved my head before even that started to happen.
Okay.
It's just because getting up in the morning and finding hair on your pillow was I didn't want that.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, 2 reasons. First, obviously the cleanliness, and it's very annoying to clean it. And the other, obviously, the emotional impact of, seeing that your hair falling out.
Yeah.
but it was very empowering.
Yeah.
But then again, having said that, during chemo, I joined a couple of like well-being sessions, and there were other women who were joined as well. And again, I was extremely blessed with having amazing support system around me, and maybe that's what made me so confident.
Yep.
And I was not feeling any of those feelings, but majority of the women were said like they feel guilty and ashamed. They don't want to go out, they don't want to talk to anybody, they don't want to share their story.
So is this still a taboo in the society?
It is.
Okay.
It is. And it's more from external factors, like
Okay.
how you look, how you present yourself, don't go out like that, cover your head, and all these things. Like, it's definitely something you did which caused this.
Okay.
So
the support and just understanding about the person is extremely important.
Extremely important. Extremely. Don't judge. If someone is going through this, just I've said in this one of my videos as well, just be there.
Yeah.
You don't have to say anything. Just be there. Knowing that there is someone sitting outside my room who I can call on if I need anything. It's such a peace of mind that it does incredible things for you mentally, especially when you're going through this.
Yeah.
So my message to everybody is that please, we need to remove the stigma around this word. We need to get rid of these judgments. We need to make ourselves more aware about this disease.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it is becoming extremely common.
Yep.
So everybody needs to know what this is. So the person who is going through this doesn't feel like something bad is happening with me. This should be normal conversation.
So since you've come out as a fighter, let's use the same word, how you're making change in people's lives? Because I've seen your Facebook videos. I believe you started a channel as well.
Yes.
Can you please tell us a little bit more about it?
Thank you for mentioning that. So I've started a channel, Cancer Let's Talk. And the main
That's on YouTube?
That's on YouTube and Instagram.
Okay.
And Facebook. But the main intention is to spread awareness.
Yep.
And awareness in the sense, obviously, about the disease itself,
Yep.
but also how you deal with it. So person who is going through this,
Yep.
also people who are going to take care of someone who's going through this. So it's more about that and not so much about the side effects or what happens. I'm not talking about that. It's more just spreading
positivity.
Positivity, and it's as I said, everybody is different,
Yep.
and not just cancer. Everybody has their own story. Everybody has something in their life. Just
Yep.
because we don't know, we don't see, that doesn't mean that it's not there.
Yes.
So, it's me telling my story over and over again. Yeah, first 2 times you might find it inspirational and, oh, that's great, but then you kind of feel like that's not what I'm going through. I can't relate to that.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't want to get into that. What I want to get into is that spread the awareness about cancer. It's becoming common. What are the things you can do, as we discussed? Talk to your family, talk to your GP, and regular checkups. Once a year, I have created a separate bank account where I put money which is towards my health.
Yeah.
Do that. Once a year, you have to do the checkups.
You've started this one since you come out of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That is something is my priority, and do that. I know because as we discussed, finances is the major factor in when you're going through these kind of scenarios. If nothing is wrong with you, great. We want that. That's how it should be.
Absolutely.
But just in case.
Yeah. Just like an insurance.
Exactly. A little amount. Just start. And that is more for your checkup. So whichever country you live in, like we are very blessed to live in Australia, where government offers a lot of tests and support, where most of them are free, or you're covered under Medicare. So you get that additional support. But we are in AI world now.
Yeah.
I use ChatGPT a lot to do my research, to find out things. Start budgeting for it.
Okay.
And then this is to stay on top of your regular checkups.
Yep.
And if you stay on top of it, if something do happen, then you're ready. You're catching it early, so your treatment is going to be more non-invasive. less lengthy,
Yeah.
less expensive.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win situation.
Awesome. Well, it was great talking to you, Deepti. Thank you so much for sharing the story. I'm not sure how many people would even consider talking about what they've gone through. You've been a tough lady, I should say. You have shown amazing strength, and once that part is done, I think you've got the mentality and you've got the gist of giving it back to the society as well. So that is something incredible. So thank you so much for being vocal. Guys, if you're watching this one, please connect it with, sorry, can you please tell me the name again of the channel?
Cancer, let's talk.
Cancer, let's talk. It just what we are doing at this point of time. It's just about creating the awareness. When Deepti had gone through breast cancer, it could be anyone in our family. It might be a sister, mother, anyone, wife. So make sure that you do the general checkups on yearly basis. And if there is anything, if somebody or your loved one or a close one is going through this one, please make sure you provide as much support as possible, because eventually that's going to be the deciding factor in that person's life. So again, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you and discussing this topic. And thank you.
No, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I'm really happy that I could do that. So thank you. And just one last thing to everybody who's listening: prioritize yourself. That's the most important thing. You prioritize yourself. You can't pour from half-empty cup. So be happy. If you are happy, you can spread the happiness. So your health, your mental health, physical health is the priority. So stay healthy.
Thank you.